What's up, Super League? It's your commissioner here. This is going to be Auction Class 101. This should take no longer than 10 minutes of this video. I understand that no one's done auction before and people are a little scared, a little nervous. There's still some people complaining. Hoyt, Liam, Jay, Max, even Trump got into a little bit, so I know we're still a little divided on the auction draft. But like in America, the citizens vote on representatives to vote for the things that are right for the country as a whole. The citizens of the Super League have appointed me as commissioner so that I can lead us to new paths. So I understand that the slow draft is fun. I like doing the slow draft, but the longer you sit here and critically think to yourself about how the team should be divided up and how we should draft, the auction draft makes more sense. So much more sense. So just stay patient, stay with it. Do not think about the slow draft. And if it sucks, if everyone hates it, then I guess we'll go back next year. But I am very confident once we do the auction draft once, we'll have to get through the bumps of the first year auction draft, but this is the way to draft. 100% in a serious fantasy football league, we have to do an auction draft, okay? There's no, random John Bush looked out of a hat to see who gets Josh Allen. Stupid draft pick trades before when you're just trading just to trade when you don't even know who's going to be on the board. And then also, oh my gosh, someone picked this guy when I wanted to take him. Or it's like the fifth round and you're like, oh, all these players are so gross. Take your team into your control. Take total control of your team. The fact that you guys want little guardian handrails and just want to pick one player per round is just so lame. We're not in fifth grade anymore. It's time to do the auction draft. I'm going to teach everyone how to do it today. You can see my screen. Everyone can access this themselves on the mock draft. I would suggest we have the scoring settings here, but these projections here that I'm circling with my mouse near where the players aren't necessarily the most accurate projections of how it should go. So everyone should determine their own value of the players. You could go off this if you want. Again, it's going to be a little bumpy. I'm sure with the first 10 to 20 players that get picked, we're going to look back and say, holy shit, how did this guy go for this much? How did this guy go for this little? The point of an auction draft and what I've read is that the years that we continue to do it, we will understand how each other bid and how the values of the players are worth. Just like in the slow snake draft, where the first year QBs shot off the board first, and then the league readjusted in year two and QBs went much later. There's going to be adjustments as time goes on and values are going to change. But I would suggest finding guys that you want to draft and finding values of your own time in preparing ahead of the draft. So let's just explain very simply how the auction draft is going to work. So I'm team one here. Before the draft starts, we will select the order of nominations. So when it's your turn to nominate, you will have between 10 and 30 seconds. We can decide. It shouldn't take you that long to nominate a player. It's not that consequential who gets nominated until the end. When you nominate a player, that is a player that everyone is going to bid on. Everyone will have $200 of fake money to bid on players. You have to have at least $1 to nominate a player. So when you nominate, you can't go down to $0 until your last player. When you put up a player, you have to start the bidding at $1. So as you can see here, I have a max of $187 because I could nominate Josh Allen and bid $187 on him, but then for my other 13 players, I would only have $1 each. When you bid on a player, then a new clock starts from 30 seconds, and then we're going to take turns. We're all going to bid. All right, the price is going to go up for Josh Allen, who I will nominate first, and then whoever has the most money and the highest bid for Josh Allen at the end will get Josh Allen on their team. If there is a bid under 10 seconds, then the price, the countdown will go back up to 10 seconds. So you have 10 seconds to decide. So it's going to be a little fast-paced flurry, and it will move quickly, okay? I'm very confident that this will not take us 8 hours to do. I would say this will take us a maximum time of 3 hours, but you're going to need to stay locked in and focused for those hours unless, you could spend all your money. I'm sure Jay, he's going to spend his money on Gibbs and Robinson, but let's just, enough telling. Let's do a little showing. So here I am. I'm player 3. I'm going to go with the AIs here. I'm going to start the draft. Okay. It's my turn to nominate. So I just put 20 seconds for us to start. Again, at the beginning, we're just going to be putting up players. At the end, when everyone has a little bit amount of money left, that's where it gets more important, where you want to know who you're going to nominate, because if you nominate weak players for $1 and someone doesn't want to bid $2, then you're going to be stuck with that player. So you want to have players at the end in your queue that you want to nominate. But here we go. The AI is bidding. The clock's running down. 24. I'm going to go up here. So this is going to be us. This is going to be Liam, Doofenshmirtz, Casey, Luca. We're going to all be taking turns bidding for Josh Allen, just like this. I have the highest offer now. The clock's running. 8. You see how someone bid? 9. 8. I'm going to bid a 30. The clock's going to go back up to 10. 8. 7. Okay, back up to 10 here. So it's going to continue like this until the clock hits 0 and no one wants to bid anymore. So don't worry. And as commissioner, okay, we will be reasonable. If your internet cuts out, just send a text and we'll pause it. But what I will say, and I'm just going to, can I pause the draft? It's fine. We can just let this go so you guys can see how this works. All bids are final, but if there is some egregious error, right, like I'm sure you can type it in, right? Like if someone is typing in their bid like this and they bid 100 instead of 10, like we can be reasonable and reverse that, right? But if you just click the button to overbid by $1, that's on you, okay? You can't just regret your bid because that would be unreasonable for the rest of the league. So we could even go down to start it at 20 seconds just because at that 10-second mark, it's going to reset higher and higher. But I think we should start at 30 seconds for the beginning so everyone can get a learning curve. So here we go. Just again, going to continue with Drake May being nominated now. You can just keep throwing it in here. AIs are going to nominate. Here, you have plenty of time to keep adding on to players here. This is just the simplistic approach to how it's going to work on the Sleeper app, okay? Now, with nominating, there are different strategies. First, if you are just Jay and you want Jahmyr Gibbs and you just want to get that out of the way, go ahead and nominate him. Get your guys on the board. But you could also nominate players that you don't want in order for people to spend their money on those players. So I would do some research to see what kind of approach you want to go with, because with the auction draft, it's not as simple as just showing up and picking one player per round, right? You want to know what kind of strategy, how to build your team with. And of course that could change during the draft, but you want to kind of decide if you're going to go with the studs and duds. If you like more of the sleeper guys this year, you could go with my approach last year where I picked a lot of the mid guys. There's going to be a lot of bidding at the beginning, I'm sure, and a lot of excitement. So you could sort of be patient and kind of snag guys at the end. Whatever you want to do, just make sure that you kind of have that ready or not. But I just don't want to hear any sort of complaining about how it works when the draft comes in. So as you can see, it's going to continue. I've been talking for 3-4 minutes since the draft has started. And we're already on pick number 5, Gibbs, May. Oh no, whoops. All these guys sort of went. So as you can see, it's not really moving. It's moving a little, obviously slower than a normal snake draft where you'd have 30 seconds to pick, but it's not like it's taking agonizingly long. It's not going to take more than 1 or 2 minutes for a player to get nominated and bid on, especially at the beginning. Everyone just be prepared. I don't really have anything much left to say. We're going to continue this process. I wish I could sort of simulate this to show you what it would look like at the end. But as we scroll down sort of to the players maybe that are less valuable, right? At the end, you just want to make sure that you have players queued at the end, like I said, because at some point you can be putting players up for $1 when you're pretty much just going to be drafting them like a normal snake draft and it's your turn to pick them rather than bidding on them. So someone like James Conner, you're going to want him. He's probably going to be rostered for $1, but someone's not going to put $2 on him. So there's going to be at some point where the players you're nominating are going to end up on your team for $1. So that's just the only tip I would have at the beginning is to queue up players. Maybe, and especially at the end when people run out of money, we can increase the time to nominate a player and decrease the time to bid on a player, because there's not going to be a huge bidding war for Kobe Parkinson or, Kamara, Tajay Spears, people like that. But you can see the AI draft's going right now. I'm just going to win a player. We'll take Jamar Chase on my team just to say that I want a player. 4, 3, 2, 1. And again, you can have multiple screens up, however you want to do it. I would definitely recommend doing this on a computer, or it can be a little stressful on your phone if you're doing research here. I got Chase, yay. Okay. This was my explanation of the draft. I covered all the basics. If anyone has any questions, let me know, or any suggestions about how to choose a nominating order. It's not a snake nominating order, so it'll just go back to just go 1 through 12, back to 1, back to number 12. Simple as that. If you have any questions, let me know, any concerns, but we will be doing the auction draft this year, and I'm very confident that we will all enjoy the process by the end, and is clearing the more strategic options. So thank you for listening. Excited to be the commissioner again, and best of luck to everyone in the auction draft.